Living with a mind of contentment. Have you ever asked yourself this question, why do I always want more, even when I already have enough? Maybe you've got a roof over your head, maybe you've got a stable job, a phone in your hand, food on the table, but deep down, something still feels like it's missing. It's like no matter how much you achieve, or how far you go, there's always that quiet whisper inside, not yet. Not enough. You see it when someone gets a promotion, and you suddenly feel behind. You feel it when you're scrolling through social media, watching other people live lives that look just a little more exciting than yours. This feeling, this silent, restless craving, the Buddha called it tanha, the thirst. But it's not the thirst of the body, it's the thirst of the mind, a hunger that never ends. You could call it desire, you could call it ambition, but when left unchecked, it becomes a prison, a golden cage that says, you can rest after the next big thing. But the truth is, the next big thing never truly satisfies, because the mind that is unsatisfied now, will be unsatisfied then. Let me say that again, the mind that is unsatisfied now, will be unsatisfied then. That's the cycle so many of us are trapped in, chasing, comparing, consuming, always looking outward, but never looking inward. But what if there's another way? What if you didn't need to add more to feel whole, but to subtract what's unnecessary? What if peace didn't come from having everything, but from realizing that you already have enough? In this video, we're not going to chase more, we're going to slow down, and discover the Buddhist path of contentment. We'll talk about why the mind craves, how to recognize the illusion of more, and most importantly, how to practice the wisdom of enough. But first, let me take you on a journey, a real story, about a man who had everything except peace. Let's begin. Let me tell you a story. It's about a man named Ethan. From the outside, Ethan had everything. He lived in a high-rise apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and a perfect skyline view. He wore designer suits, drove a luxury car, ate at places where the menu didn't even have prices. His Instagram, full of smiles, sunsets, and success. His LinkedIn, packed with promotions, TEDx talks, and 5-star recommendations. But there was something no one saw. Each morning, before the world woke up, Ethan would sit on the edge of his bed and feel empty, not sad, not broken, just unfinished, like he had climbed every mountain society told him to climb, and still couldn't see the view. He had money. He had followers. He had a title, but peace, that was missing. One night, after another high-stress meeting, Ethan came home exhausted. He couldn't sleep, so he scrolled his phone for hours, looking for something, anything, to distract him from the silence. Then, something odd happened. He accidentally tapped on a video, not a flashy ad, not a trending reel. It was an old monk, sitting under a tree, speaking softly. The caption read, "The one who knows contentment is truly rich, even with little." Ethan almost skipped it, but something in that monk's calm voice, that simple smile, made him pause. He watched the full video. Then another, then another. And for the first time in a long time, he felt something unusual, stillness. The next day, he went to a used bookstore on a quiet street he had never noticed before. There, between a cookbook and a dusty travel guide, he found a small book with a gold lotus on the cover, the title, The Heart of Buddhist Wisdom. He bought it. Not because he believed in anything yet, but because something in him was tired of chasing, tired of running. As days passed, Ethan began to change. He didn't quit his job, he didn't sell his car or shave his head, but he started paying attention to the birds outside his window, to the taste of his morning tea, to the way his breath rose and fell, without effort, without needing anything. And for the first time, he realized something profound. He had been rich in things, but poor in presence. Weeks later, he found himself sitting in a local Zen center. The walls were bare. The floor was wood. The silence was real. He asked the teacher there, "Why do I have everything and still feel so unsatisfied?" The teacher smiled gently and replied, "Because you've collected everything except yourself." That moment became the beginning of Ethan's true journey, not toward more, but toward enough. He didn't give up ambition. He gave up attachment, he didn't stop growing. He stopped grasping, and slowly, a new kind of wealth began to grow in him, not in his bank account, but in his heart. Ethan's story isn't rare, in fact. It might be your story too. Maybe you followed the path. Checked all the boxes, achieved what you were told to chase, but still feel like something is off. That's not failure, that's awakening. It's your inner wisdom whispering, you were never meant to spend your life chasing what doesn't satisfy. It's the first sign that you're ready for something deeper, not more noise, not more stuff, but a return to something ancient, something quietly powerful, contentment. Let's be honest, most of us don't wake up feeling peaceful. We wake up checking our phones, scrolling through emails, racing through the day before it even begins. We say things like, I'll be happy when I finish this project. I'll feel better once I lose some weight. I just need a little more money. And then I'll be okay. But here's the thing, that one never seems to come, because every time we reach it, another one appears, and so we keep running. The Buddha saw this over 2,500 years ago, long before smartphones, deadlines, or social media. He looked at the human mind and realized something deep. We don't suffer because life is hard, we suffer because the mind craves. He called this craving tanha, the thirst. But not the thirst for water, not the thirst of the body, it's the thirst of never being content with the present moment. It's that itch inside that says, this isn't good enough. I'm not good enough. Life isn't enough. And that itch, it's like a fire. The more you feed it, with new clothes, new jobs, new likes, new goals, the bigger it grows. That's why people with millions in the bank still feel poor, why influencers with millions of followers still feel invisible, why even you and I, with everything we need to survive, can still feel like something is missing, because the fire of craving isn't outside, it's inside. Now listen closely to this next part. The Buddha didn't say desire itself is evil. He understood that we all have needs, dreams, and responsibilities, but he made a very important distinction. There is a difference between wholesome aspiration and restless craving. One leads you to peace, the other leads you to exhaustion. Let me break that down. Wholesome aspiration sounds like this: I want to take care of my family with love. I want to grow, but I accept where I am. I'm grateful now, and I welcome what's to come. Craving, on the other hand, sounds like, I need more to prove my worth. I can't be happy until I have what others have. I'll never be enough unless I keep going. See the difference? One is grounded in acceptance and gratitude, the other is rooted in lack and fear. Now here's something most people miss: craving doesn't go away by getting what we want, it goes away by understanding what we truly need. That's why the Buddha taught santosha, the joy of contentment. It doesn't mean giving up your goals, it means letting go of the illusion that your happiness depends on them. It means saying, this moment is enough for now. This breath is enough. This life, right here, is already a miracle. Imagine living like that, not in constant pursuit, but in peaceful presence, not needing to prove anything, just showing up with kindness and clarity. That's the power of contentment. It doesn't shout, it doesn't sparkle, it doesn't trend on social media, but it gives you something the world cannot: a heart that rests, and a mind that no longer begs for more, because it finally sees what was here all along. So, how do we begin? How do we move from knowing to living this truth? Because let's face it, it's one thing to hear the words, be content with what you have. It's another thing entirely, to feel that contentment when the bills are piling up, when everyone else seems to be doing better, when the world is shouting, you're not enough. That's why we don't just need ideas, we need practices, simple, powerful habits that bring the teachings off the page and into your life. Let me share with you 3 timeless tools from the Buddhist path. No rituals, no dogma, just quiet practices that slowly shift the way you see and feel and live. Practice 1, the pause of gratitude. The Buddha once said, "Let us rise and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little." Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling, it's a lens, a way of training the mind to see what's already here. So here's the practice: once a day, just pause, place your hand on your chest, feel your breath, and name 3 things you're grateful for, without changing anything. Not "I'll be grateful if I get the job," but "I'm grateful for this breath. I'm grateful for the sound of birds outside. I'm grateful for one person who cares about me." Do it while brushing your teeth, while drinking your coffee, while sitting at a red light. Over time, this small pause becomes a doorway, a way back home to the present, because where there is gratitude, there is no room for lack. Practice 2, stop the scroll, start the stillness. We live in a world addicted to comparison, scrolling, clicking, consuming, and with every swipe, the message gets louder: their life is better. You need to catch up. But here's the truth: you don't need to scroll to find peace, you need to sit still long enough to remember it was inside you all along. So the second practice is simple: create 1 moment of silence each day. No phone, no news, no multitasking, just you, your breath, and your presence. It could be 5 minutes before breakfast, or 3 minutes before you sleep, even 60 seconds at your desk. This isn't about meditation with fancy cushions. This is about remembering your own enoughness in the stillness. Because when the world gets quiet, you begin to hear something deeper, your own wisdom. Practice 3. Let go of one more. Every day, we carry invisible bags, bags filled with the weight of more. More money, more status, more validation, more everything. But what if today, just once, you let go of one, just one? Maybe it's the urge to prove yourself in that meeting, or the habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning. Or the thought, if I had that, I'd finally be happy. Let it go, gently, breathe into the space it leaves behind. You don't have to let go forever, just for now. That's the practice, not pushing it away, not fighting with it, just releasing. And noticing, I am still here. Whole. Complete. Breathing. Sometimes letting go of one more is how you make space for what truly matters. These aren't rules, they're invitations, ways of waking up, not to something new, but to something already within you. Because the truth is, you don't need more to feel complete, you just need to see clearly what you already have: a breath, a moment, a quiet sense of this is enough. That's where contentment begins. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a king who had everything: gold, palaces, power, and people who bowed at every step he took. But still, he could not sleep at night. Every evening, as he lay in his bed of silk, his mind raced: what if someone tries to steal my throne? What if there's not enough gold next year? What if the people stop admiring me? Despite all his riches, his heart felt empty, always chasing something more. One day, as he looked out over the hills from his balcony, he saw a farmer singing as he plowed the fields. No guards, no jewels, just worn-out clothes and sunburnt skin. But he was smiling, truly, deeply smiling. The king was puzzled. How could a man with so little look more at peace than a man who owned an entire kingdom? So he ordered the farmer to be brought to his court. When the farmer arrived, he bowed with humility, still smiling, still calm. The king asked him, "Tell me, why do you look so happy? You have no gold, no titles, no servants. Are you not burdened by life?" The farmer replied with a gentle laugh, "My king, I have something far greater than gold. I have enough." He went on to explain, "Each morning, I wake up before the sun, I breathe in the air, kiss my sleeping children, and walk to the fields. I till the land with love, and when the day ends, I eat what I have grown, and sleep beside my wife under the stars. I don't own much, but nothing owns me. I don't fear losing anything, because I'm not clinging to anything. And that, my king, is what gives me peace." The king was stunned. No one had ever spoken to him like that. That night, he couldn't sleep again, but this time, not from fear, from wonder. Could it be that true wealth, was not what he had accumulated, but what he had overlooked. Now, let's pause here, because this story isn't just ancient wisdom, it's happening every day, right now. You and I, we live in a modern kingdom of comparison, a world where we're constantly told, success means more. Happiness is just one purchase away. Your worth is measured in likes, income, or applause. We scroll through Instagram, see strangers on vacation in Bali, buying Teslas, wearing designer clothes, and somewhere deep down we whisper to ourselves, why don't I have that? When will it be my turn? But we rarely ask the real question, do I actually need it? Or am I just afraid of feeling behind? Here's the truth, and it's the same truth the Buddha taught the kings and the farmers: more does not bring peace, enough does. There are millionaires who cannot sleep without pills, and there are minimum wage workers who fall asleep smiling beside their children. There are influencers with 500,000 followers, who still feel unseen. And there are monks with no phones, no fame, yet they radiate a joy that no algorithm can manufacture. It's not what you own, it's what you carry in your heart. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer quietly, in your own heart, what does enough look like for you? Not the version sold to you by ads or influencers, not the version someone else lives, but you're enough. Maybe it's waking up without anxiety, maybe it's having time to drink your coffee slowly, maybe it's knowing your kids are safe, maybe it's loving yourself without needing to prove anything to anyone. If you don't know yet, that's okay. The Buddha didn't ask us to have all the answers, he just asked us to look within. And keep looking, until the thirst of craving becomes the calm of contentment. The story of the farmer and the king is not just about two men, it's about two paths, the path of accumulation, and the path of liberation. One will keep you chasing forever, the other will teach you to stop, breathe, and realize, right here, right now, I am enough. And when you truly feel that, you'll discover a wealth the world cannot take away. What if I told you that your brain was wired to feel discontent, that deep inside your biology, there's a silent pattern, always whispering, not yet. Not enough. Keep going. Thousands of years ago, the Buddha called this tanha, the craving mind. He taught that this thirst, this grasping, is the root of suffering, and now, in labs and MRI machines around the world, science is finally catching up. Let's start with dopamine, a tiny molecule that drives some very big behaviors. When you see something desirable, a new phone, a pair of shoes, a flirty smile, your brain lights up with dopamine. But here's the twist, dopamine doesn't bring satisfaction. It brings anticipation. In fact, neuroscience shows us this clearly. Dopamine spikes before the reward, not after. You crave the ice cream, but once you've eaten it, that buzz fades fast. So what do? We chase the next hit, and the next, and the next. Social media, designed to trigger that loop, likes, notifications, endless scroll. The modern world is a dopamine machine, and most of us are caught in its gears. The Buddha saw this 2,500 years ago. He taught that grasping leads to suffering, that the mind, left untrained, will always seek the next thing. And now, with modern brain scans, we see it. The more people chase rewards, the less satisfaction they report. But the more they train in present moment awareness, through mindfulness, meditation, or gratitude, the more stable and lasting their happiness becomes. So, what happens in the brain when you practice contentment? Studies from Harvard, UCLA, and MIT show something remarkable. When people intentionally focus on what they already have, like during gratitude journaling or mindfulness practice, three things change. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, becomes calmer. You feel less impulsive, more grounded. The amygdala, your fear and anxiety center, begins to quiet down. You experience less stress. The default mode network, the part of the brain that spins stories about the past and future, starts to settle. You feel more present. In short, you return home to yourself, just like the farmer in the story, just like the monks who sit in stillness, smiling at the wind, not because they have less dopamine, but because they are no longer owned by it. let's take a real-world example. A tech executive in San Francisco once shared this story. He was making over $500,000 a year. He had a Tesla, a penthouse, and a calendar full of investors, but he couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, always felt he was falling behind. One day, after a health scare, he started meditating. Just 10 minutes a day. He began writing down 3 things he was grateful for every morning, and within 3 weeks, something shifted. I still had the same job, he said, but I no longer needed it to feel worthy. For the first time in years, I felt enough. That's not philosophy, that's neuroplasticity, the brain changing, wiring itself for peace. Here's the beautiful truth: you don't have to renounce the world, you don't need to become a monk or give up your smartphone, but you can choose to rewire your mind, to step off the hamster wheel of craving, and into the quiet space of enough. Start small, 1 deep breath before you scroll. 1 moment of gratitude at the end of your day, 1 pause before your next purchase. Do I really need this, or am I just hungry for a feeling? Every time you do that, your brain rewires, your heart steadies, and your life begins to soften. The Buddha didn't need an fMRI to know this. He simply sat under a tree, watched the mind, and saw the truth. There is no peace in endless wanting, but there is profound joy in knowing what is enough. And now, modern science nods in agreement. You don't need more, you need to come back to this moment, fully, gently, gratefully, and in that moment, you may discover, you were never missing anything at all. We all crave love, to be seen, to be held, to be understood without having to explain every piece of ourselves, and that craving, it can be beautiful, but it can also become a prison. How many of us have clung to a person, not because they were right for us, but because we were afraid of being alone? How often have we measured love by how much someone gives us, instead of how much space they allow us to grow? We scroll through social media and see couples laughing, holding hands. And we wonder, why don't I have that? What's wrong with me? When will it be my turn? But what if we've been asking the wrong questions? The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. But attachment doesn't just mean loving someone, it means clinging, trying to possess, to control, to extract happiness from them, like drawing water from a well that was never meant to be owned. Let me share with you a story, a quiet one, but one that changed how I see love. The story of the clay bowl. There was once a monk who carried with him a simple clay bowl. He used it every day, to receive alms, to drink water, to reflect the moonlight. It wasn't fancy, but he loved it deeply. It reminded him of simplicity, of presence. One day, while walking through the forest, the bowl slipped from his hands, and shattered into pieces. At first, his heart clenched, a part of him wanted to weep, but then he bowed before the broken shards and whispered, "Thank you. You served me well, but you were never mine." And he walked on. Lighter. This is not a story about bowls, it's about people. We enter each other's lives like vessels, meant to hold space, to share joy, to offer support. But no one can be held forever. People change. Love evolves, some stay, some leave, and when we cling too tightly, we forget what love really is, not possession, not control, but presence. What does enough look like in love? Imagine this. Instead of asking your partner to complete you, you learn to meet yourself fully, so your love becomes an offering, not a request. Instead of texting someone all day out of insecurity, you sit with your own discomfort and offer yourself the love you wish they would give. Instead of needing constant validation, you learn to anchor your worth in your own being. This is living with a mind of contentment in relationships. It's not about settling for less, it's about not needing someone else to fix your loneliness. You stop chasing perfect love, and start practicing real love, loving without clinging, a practice. The Buddha once said, if you love someone, let them be free. If they come back, they were always yours. If not, they never were. It sounds poetic, but how do we practice this in real life? Here are 3 mindful shifts you can try. Replace expectation with appreciation. When you want something from someone, pause, and instead, notice what they've already given. Love grows in gratitude, not in demands. let go of the fantasy. We often fall in love with who we want someone to be, not who they truly are. See clearly. Love honestly, return to yourself. Always, when you feel lost in someone, come back to your breath, to your body, to your enoughness. Relationships built on neediness break under pressure, but relationships rooted in contentment, in presence, they become sanctuaries, even if they don't last forever. They leave no regrets, because you gave love, without losing yourself, you received love, without trying to cage it, you lived the beauty of connection, without making it your only source of worth. To love is human, to attach is instinct, but to love without clinging, that is the practice of awakening. So the next time someone leaves, or doesn't love you back the way you hoped, instead of asking, what did I do wrong? Try asking, did I love with presence? Did I love from fullness? Or from lack? And if you did love with presence, then nothing was wasted, because love, offered freely, always returns to you, as peace. It's easy to feel peaceful, in a quiet forest, on a retreat, or while listening to a voice like this one, but what about the real world? What about Monday mornings, overflowing inboxes, traffic jams, unpaid bills, and people who push your buttons? Can you still live with contentment, when life feels anything but peaceful? The answer is yes, but it begins with one radical shift: stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start practicing peace. Exactly where you are. Most of us wake up and immediately reach for our phones. We check messages, headlines, or scroll through someone else's life. But what if your first act each morning was to arrive fully in your body, just one breath? Inhale, I am alive. Exhale, this moment is enough. You stretch. You smile. You whisper a quiet thank you, not because life is perfect, but because you've remembered, you are here, and that is already a miracle. Think about your morning coffee or tea. Usually, we drink it while rushing, checking email, multitasking, already in the next moment. But that cup can become a ceremony. Feel its warmth, notice its aroma, take one sip with full awareness, and realize, contentment lives in the ordinary. It's not about having more, it's about being more present with what already is. Now imagine you're in traffic, cars everywhere, a driver just cut you off, your mind starts spiraling. Why is everyone so rude? I hate this city. I'm going to be late. But then you remember, you can't control traffic, but you can control your reaction, so you soften your grip on the wheel, you take a breath, inhale, I let go, exhale, I am here, you turn the traffic jam into a temple, and for those few minutes, you're no longer a prisoner of impatience, you're a practitioner of peace. The modern workplace is driven by one mantra: more, faster, better. We chase promotions, applause, and achievement, often burning out along the way, but the Buddha reminds us, peace comes not from doing more, but from doing with presence. So even in a busy office, you can practice one mindful breath before opening your inbox, a silent thank you before responding to a colleague, choosing to listen fully, rather than mentally rehearsing your reply. Your job doesn't have to change, but you can change the way you show up, and in doing so, work becomes more than labor, it becomes practice. At lunch, you might be tempted to rush, or eat while scrolling TikTok or YouTube. But just for one meal, put down your phone. Take a bite, chew slowly. Taste everything. When you eat with full awareness, you nourish more than your body, you nourish your presence. This is living with a mind of contentment made visible, not craving for more seasoning, more options, more sides, but fully tasting the one bowl in front of you. And at night, when the world winds down, many of us feel the weight of the day, the regrets, the unfinished tasks, the voices whispering, you should have done more. You should be more. But you can answer those voices with compassion. You can sit quietly, just for a few minutes, and reflect, what went well today, where did I offer love, what can I let go of, and then, you whisper to yourself. It was enough, I am enough, this day was enough. You lay your head down, not in exhaustion, but in gratitude, not because everything went perfectly, but because you were awake for it all. Here's the great secret: you don't need incense or mantras to live a spiritual life, you just need to be present. To your breath, to your meals, to the people in front of you, to the quiet miracles that unfold in each moment. When you're not too busy chasing the next one, contentment isn't hiding in some faraway mountaintop. It's right here, in the dishes, in the laundry, in the sound of rain tapping your window. You don't have to escape your life to find peace, you just have to show up for it. So try this, tomorrow morning, before the rush. Place your hand on your heart, and say gently, I am here, I have enough, I am enough. And watch how your entire day begins to change, because when you live with the heart of living with a mind of contentment, your whole life becomes a quiet, beautiful meditation. You've walked with me through the valleys of craving, through the forests of reflection, and into the quiet sanctuary of the present moment, and now we arrive at the heart of it all. Contentment isn't about giving up, it's not about having less, it's about wanting less because you finally remember. You already have enough. It's the moment you stop measuring your worth by your followers, your income, your relationship status, or how many dreams you've checked off. It's the moment you exhale and whisper, right here, right now, I am okay, I am whole, I am home. The world will still pull you, it will tempt you to compare, to chase, to doubt, but now you have a choice. You can return, again and again, to this gentle practice of Tom Beat Do, and anchor yourself in the present, where peace has always been waiting, something deep, something ancient, maybe even something you've forgotten for a while. Then don't let it fade away, come back to this space, subscribe to Zen Buddhism Wisdom, leave a comment, share your favorite part, or your own story of learning to let go, because this isn't just a video. It's a sangha, a community, a place where we remind each other, gently, you don't need more, to become who you already are. Whether you're watching this in the quiet of midnight, or on a break between meetings, just know this. You are enough, this moment is enough, and the journey has only just begun. Folded hands, thank you for walking it with me. Until next time, be well, be still, and breathe deeply. May you always live with a mind of contentment.